Hello again. I can't think of any super clever way to start this, so I'll just say hi. Hey, hope your weekend's going great. It's David Helman here with another episode of Ask the Boys, presented by our dear friends at Rico's. They make amazing nacho cheese and other goodies so that you don't have to. Let's get into your questions. You know how this goes. It's a video mailbag. I shouldn't have to explain this to you every week. R.H. Lewis says, is there any possible way to save money this year if we moved on from Zeke Elliott? I'd much rather have given Dak that money in 2019 than Zeke. This is a common topic of consternation among Cowboy fans, feeling a little bit of buyer's remorse about the Ezekiel Elliott contract. Look, at the end of the day, there's always a way, but is it a good idea in a year with a shrunken salary cap because of a pandemic? The answer is no. Cutting Zeke would cost you anywhere between like $12 and $24 million, depending on whether or not you designated a June 1 cut. It gets a little bit less next year, but the contract is honestly structured to give you a way out after the 2022 season. I think it would be a very bad idea on the Cowboys' part to cut a good player before then. So you're stuck with Zeke for all intents and purposes for 2 more seasons, but that's okay. Like, I can't stress enough how much of an overreaction I think it is that people are that worried about Zeke. Yes, he had a disappointing season. No, he didn't play like the best running back in football. It is fair to point out that he neither had an offensive line nor a quarterback that scared opposing defenses. I think he will be just fine when he gets those things back. Maybe that's not what you want to hear about a $15 million running back, but that decision's been made. There's nothing you can do about it now. So look for the bright side is my advice. I'm really not worried about Zeke Elliott's long-term outlook here. But no, I don't think it's a great idea to try to move past that for another year or 2 at least. Alan, appealing to the devils of my worst nature, just wants me to brag about myself. He says, personal question, did you always know you wanted to work in professional sports? And were the Cowboys your first choice? I have known since I was like 12 that I wanted to work in sports journalism, probably because 12 is when I stopped growing. I'm very short. I don't know if you knew that. So right around the time I realized I didn't have a future playing sports, I figured journalism would be my next best bet to be around it. Really wanted to do college more so than pro. You can see my guy Joe Burrow over my shoulder, but my career just led me in this direction. No, the Cowboys weren't even really a choice. They never entered into my mind. It was just the opportunity presented to me, and I was very blessed to be able to take advantage of it. Thrilled to be here. Couldn't think of a way that it would have gone better, but I never would have imagined it when I was 12. Mike says, best Chicago-style pizza in DFW. Okay, I mean, I'm not an expert on Chicago-style pizza, but there's a Geno's East in Arlington out by AT&T Stadium, and that's one of the big Chicago ones. So, like, that's my answer. But the reason I picked this question is I want to talk about something called Detroit-style pizza. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? It's my Jay Leno impression. I didn't eat Detroit-style pizza for the first time until, like, this summer during the pandemic. Didn't even know it was a thing. It's incredible. I highly recommend you go find some. It's basically like if pizza was a brownie, like crispy on the edges, square, fluffy in the middle. It's the perfect balance between like a New York style and a Chicago style pizza. I think it might be my favorite kind of pizza, and I'm pretty bummed that I didn't find out about it until I was in my 30s. So, what up, Detroit? Way to go. I highly encourage everybody to look into it. It's wonderful. Wyatt Nunn says, which member of the Cowboys has the best taste in music? I'm not being facetious at all when I say one of the things I have missed the most about covering the team in a global pandemic is not being around the guys, not going into the locker room. Because obviously, like, you get to talk to them and build relationships, but, like, you find out stuff like that. You know, guys have Bluetooth speakers and they'll turn their music on after practice. So off the top of my head, I'm not sure because I haven't been around the team in a year, but shout out my guy, Xavier Suafilo, the offensive lineman. He's not on the team anymore. He's with the Cincinnati Bengals now. But he used to always be playing jams in the locker room after practice. And it went from like he would play some hip hop. He was big into like reggae music. Could always count on hearing like some Bob Marley or maybe the Wailers. You know, EDM, electronic stuff, like any type of genre you could think of, he was playing it. And he was like masterful with the switching up and like knowing what the situation called for. It was awesome. I loved listening to Xavier's Bluetooth. So, you know, when we can finally get back in the locker room, I'll let you know who has supplanted him. But he was the GOAT at that for sure. Michael says, do you see Sean Lee becoming a future coach in the NFL? I absolutely think Sean Lee is going to coach when he's done playing. The question is he done playing? And I don't think anybody but Sean knows the answer to that. He was very careful not to speak in any absolutes at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised at all if once he's had a chance to rest up and think about it, he decides to give it one more go, whether that's with the Cowboys or somebody else, who knows. But when he is done, I absolutely think Sean Lee is going to coach, and I won't be surprised if he is on a fast track. Think about Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel coached linebackers at Ohio State for like, I don't know, a year and a half, and then he was in the NFL, and a couple years after that, he was a head coach. I don't know if that's going to happen for Sean, but it sure as hell wouldn't surprise me because he's smart as a whip and loves football more than anybody I think I've ever met in my life. So, yes, 5 years from now, I think Sean Lee will have like a meaningful coaching role in the NFL. That's my prediction. Come back to this in 5 years. But until then, we're going to do like at least like 1,000 more episodes of Ask the Boys between now and then. So check back in. You know, a lot of the stuff I said was probably dumb, but some of it might come true in 5 years. So we'll see. Thanks for watching.